All right, folks, strap in. What you're about to hear isn't a Hollywood script. This is a declassified breakdown of a Ukrainian deep strike mission that redefined the word audacity. It's a story of 8 drones, 2 missiles, and a heist pulled off in plain sight. If you think modern warfare is all about satellites and stealth, you're about to have your mind changed. At 0417 local time, under a blanket of oppressive darkness, 8 Ukrainian drones became ghosts. They were navigating the treacherous contours of a Russian river valley, their wings slicing through the air at a mere 200 meters altitude. This was the silent run. No GPS pings to give away their position. No radar emissions to scream, "I'm here," just the quiet hum of their piston engines and the constant, silent calculations of their onboard brains. For 50 kilometers, it was a perfect ballet of pre-programmed evasion. Their only guides were barometric sensors and meticulously pre-loaded terrain data. Think of it like a submarine navigating the deep ocean, but in the air, flying by depth and compass, heading alone. Behind the lead drone, the other 7 followed in a loose, dispersed formation. They weren't flying in a tight pack. That would create one big, juicy radar return. This was a swarm of individuals, each one a separate, nagging problem, then a hiccup. Drone 5's proximity sensor screamed a warning, power lines 200 meters ahead. In a split second, its processor executed a pre-programmed climb. It cleared the lethal cables by a heart-stopping 3 meters before diving back down into the safety of the terrain mask. The others followed in sequence, each one's navigation system learning from the path of the one before it. They were dodging infrastructure better than a politician dodges a direct question. The mission was still a go. But unknown to the operators back in Ukraine, sipping cold coffee in a dimly lit control room, the game had just changed. An MY-24 Hind attack helicopter on an unscheduled and lonely patrol had just caught a faint, anomalous sound on the wind engine noise, a distinctive lawnmower-like buzz that didn't belong. The pilot, a grizzled veteran dragged out of retirement, didn't need orders. He was already turning his bird towards the sound, his finger resting on the trigger. Weapons hot. What's the most insane piece of low-tech ingenuity you've heard of in modern war? Let me know in the comments below. Just as the Hind began its hunt, the real deception launched. 2 Neptune anti-ship missiles suddenly roared from their hidden launchers, climbing fast and bright, painting the sky with their fiery tails. This was the diversion. The misdirection. Every Russian radar operator from Barents to Moscow immediately slammed their systems into lock-on. It was an instinctual, trained response. Engage the obvious threat first. The first Neptune climbed to 15,000 feet, its radar cross-section the size of a small car. No stealth, no subtlety. Its message was simple. Here I am, come and get me. A Russian S-400 operator took the bait. His system could track dozens of targets, but his entire world narrowed to this one missile climbing arrogantly into his engagement envelope. He launched 2 interceptors. The math was brutal and beautiful, 8 seconds from launch to impact. The Neptune disintegrated at 15,000 feet, transformed into 10,000 pieces of expensive confetti. Back in the Russian command bunker, there were cheers, high fives, a job well done. But while they were celebrating the death of the flashy assistant, the real magician was slipping through the back door. The second Neptune had vanished. It had dove down to treetop level, threading between hills at 900 kilometers per hour, its radar altimeter screaming in protest. It had dropped below the radar horizon. You see, no matter how many billions you spend on your radar, it can't see through the planet. The Neptune was now invisible. But even this wasn't the real attack. Think of it like this. Someone kicks in your front door. Everyone runs to see the guy making all the noise. Nobody thinks to check the windows, and that's exactly what Ukraine was counting on. If you're loving this breakdown of modern tactical deception, smash that like button. It lets me know you want more content like this. Back in the valley, the drones had been made. A Russian soldier, answering nature's call, heard the distinctive buzz overhead. He grabbed his radio. Multiple low-flying aircraft heading northeast. Within 30 seconds, Sector Command was triangulating the reports. The math was terrifyingly simple. 8 contacts, heading straight for a critical pipeline station. The Beavers, as the drone swarm was codenamed, scattered into pre-programmed evasion patterns. Drones 6 through 8 went north, hugging a railroad line. Drones 3 through 5 dove deeper into the valley. Drones 1 and 2, they stayed high and obvious someone had to play the target. Then Drone 4's infrared camera flared pure white. Right on cue, the second Neptune played its final card. It pulled up from the deck, climbing hard to 3,000 feet, just 8 kilometers from the pipeline. Every radar that had lost it immediately reacquired, alarms screaming across 3 provinces. A Panzer S-1 air defense battery commander saw his chance. The missile was finally high enough for a solid lock. 4 57E6 missiles rippled from the launcher, each pulling 20 Gs. The intercept was beautiful overkill. A massive fireball lit up the dawn sky for 10 full seconds. The Russian defenders cheered, 2 Neptunes destroyed. Crisis averted medals all around. The battery commander was already composing his victory report when someone should have asked the obvious question, why would Ukraine waste 2 expensive missiles on a target they couldn't possibly hit? But nobody asked. Everyone was watching the pretty fireball fade, feeling satisfied with their superior air defense, which is exactly when drones 6, 7, and 8 approached from the north, following the railroad tracks at 50 meters altitude, completely undetected. Because every single Russian sensor was pointed south, staring at the aftermath of the explosion. The facility's last-ditch defenses scrambled Russian soldiers on rooftops, raised IGLAS, man-portable air defense systems, Soviet-era tech with a new infrared seeker designed to burn through flares and chase jet engines. The first soldier swept his seeker across the sky. Nothing. Drone 3 was 800 meters away, closing fast. But its tiny piston engine was running at maybe 80 degrees Celsius. A jet engine glows at 600 degrees Celsius. The IGLA needed a 3-degree differential to lock. The drone, against the cool morning air, only showed 2 degrees. It was like trying to use a heat-seeking missile on an ice cube. He fired anyway. The missile roared out, accelerated, then its guidance system basically shrugged. I got nothing. It flew ballistically and crashed into a forest, detonating among some very confused trees. 3 more soldiers tried. Same result. They were trying to shoot down lawnmowers with weapons built to kill dragons, but the 4th soldier got lucky. A proximity fuse detonated, sending a cloud of tungsten fragments into Drone 8's path. Drone was peppered, wobbling, trailing parts, but it kept flying. Meanwhile, the forgotten Drone 1, the boring, obvious one everyone had stopped paying attention to, reached the main transformer substation. Its camera matched the target profile. The warhead armed. Suddenly, being forgotten was the best strategy of all. Chaos erupted. Zu-23 anti-aircraft guns opened up, their tracers lighting the sky in a blind, desperate fireworks show. They were designed for an era when night vision meant squinting harder. It was like trying to hit a bat with a tennis racket in a dark room. Then, the impacts began. Drone 6 hit a pumping substation at 180 kilometers per hour. 20 kilos of explosives detonated among the pumps, rupturing every pipe within 30 meters. Petroleum geysered into the air. Drone 3, critically damaged, plowed into the control building. Its warhead wiped out the computer banks that managed the petroleum flow for Central Europe. The pipeline was now running blind. Drone 7 reached a massive storage tank. It climbed, hung at its apex for a perfect moment, nose to the stars, then dove straight down the damaged Drone 8, wobbling and dying, crashed into the base of a second tank. What happened next wasn't just an explosion, it was a BLEVE, a boiling liquid expanding vapor explosion. The math is simple and terrifying. 10,000 tons of liquid petroleum instantly vaporized, expanding 1,700 times in volume. The blast wave moved faster than a rifle bullet. Every other tank in the farm ruptured like dominoes made of dynamite. The strategic pipeline connection was severed, gone in a fireball visible from space. Those 8 drones, which just deleted a pipeline worth billions of dollars, cost less than what the US government spends in 5 seconds. It was a masterpiece of tactical deception, using the enemy's own technology, training, and arrogance against them. They were so busy looking at the magician's right hand, they never saw the left one emptying their pockets. This is the new face of warfare. It's not always about having the biggest stick. Sometimes it's about being the smartest. This mission was a complex blend of drone swarms, electronic warfare, and psychological ops. What aspect of modern asymmetric warfare do you want me to break down next? The use of AI in targeting, naval drone tactics in the Black Sea? Let me know in the comments. Your input decides the next video. If you enjoyed this deep dive into one of the most audacious drone strikes in history, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe for more content that pulls back the curtain on modern conflict, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next breakdown. Until next time.